All right, here is day 2 of figuring out what happens when you have two parallel lines that are being cut by a transversal. So last week you guys learned that corresponding angles are congruent. So like the angles that go together, right? So if we've got this set of angles that form and this set of angles that form, you guys learned last week that the ones that go together correspond or congruent. So like this angle is corresponding with this angle. It's in the same spot. You're going to learn about 3 more types of angles today, and that is interior, exterior, and vertical angles and what happens with those. So let's figure out what those are first of all. So when you have 2 parallel lines that are being cut by a transversal, 4 interior angles are formed, and 4 exterior angles are formed. And I am betting that you already know what that means. If you think about the words interior and exterior, like think about the interior of your house. You're talking about the inside of your house, right? And the exterior of your house is going to be the outside. So if I'm looking here, let's say this is angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If I label them like that, we'll zoom in a little bit. Which of those angles would you say are on the inside, are interior angles? Well, the inside or the interior angles are going to be these ones. They're kind of like within the parallel lines is how you want to think of it. That's what it's interior. It's inside of those parallel lines. So you might want to write interior angles are inside the parallel lines. So the interior angles here would be angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, and angle 6. The exterior angles are outside the parallel lines. They are outside of the parallel lines. So the exterior or outside angles here are going to be angles 1, 2, 7, and 8. So our exterior angles, the ones on the outsides, are angles 1, angle 2, angle 7, and angle 8. Right? So we've identified them. Why do we care about those? What's important to know about them is that alternate interior angles, you're going to write that down, alternate interior angles are congruent. Meaning equal, or they're the same measure, they're the same size. What does that word alternate mean? If you're alternating between 2 things, it's kind of like back and forth or opposites. So if the opposite, that's another word. Maybe I'll write that one down as well. Alternate or opposite interior angles are congruent. So I got angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 here. Let's identify what are my alternate interior angles. Well, here are my interior angles. Those are the inside ones. The opposite interior angles, here's 3 and 6 because they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So 3 and 6 are alternate interior angles. 4 and 5 are alternate interior angles because they're both on the inside, so they're interior angles, and they're alternate because they're on opposite sides of the transversal. Those are congruent. So 3 is going to be the same measure as 6, and 4 is going to be the same measure as 5. The same thing goes for alternate exterior angles. So alternate or opposite exterior angles or outside angles are also congruent or the same measure. So if I'm looking up here, let's look at all of my exterior angles, all my outside angles. We said that's 1, 2, 7, and 8. Those are all of my exterior or outside angles because they're outside of the parallel lines. Now, which of those are on alternate sides of the transversal or opposite sides of the transversal? 1 and 8 are alternate exterior angles. 2 and 7 are alternate exterior angles because they're on the outside, but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So 1 and 8 are going to be congruent, and how should I mark this? We'll do like that. 2 and 7 are going to be congruent or the same measure.